Joker Folie à Deux, which already there's a massive problem when your movie has a title that nobody can pronounce. It opened this past weekend, to $40 million. And by most standards, $40 million would seem to be a lot of money. The problem is that the film had a $190 million budget, probably about double that for marketing. So this movie had a massive production budget. It was the follow-up to one of the most successful R-rated films of all time, and it had near total cultural penetration. Everybody knew that the sequel was coming out. The ads for the movie were everywhere. It's expected that Joker 2 will probably drop by 65% in its second weekend, this weekend, which would be catastrophic, but also not surprising for a movie with a 33% critic score and a 31% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Suffice it to say that this movie has not been a great success. In fact, the movie has failed by every possible measure, despite having every possible advantage. Advantages that include not just the budget and the goodwill from the first film, but also the immense acting talent on screen. Joaquin Phoenix, one of the most interesting actors in the history of cinema. Lady Gaga might not be a great actress, but she is a huge star and very famous. She's in the film. Even Brendan Gleeson and Catherine Keener have supporting roles in the film. They're fantastic actors. And yet, it still failed both commercially and artistically. The question is why and how did it happen? How did the director, Todd Phillips, manage to take all of the immense resources and advantages at his disposal and convert them into this historic box office humiliation? Well, the short answer is that the movie sucks, which should come as no surprise. Sequels in general are notoriously awful in most cases. If the sequel is a continuation of the story, a part of the filmmaker's original creative vision for the project, then in those cases, it might turn out well. Those sequels are terrible in literally every case. This Joker sequel only exists because the first one made $1 billion. That is its sole reason for being. So spoiler alert, you can mute this now if you don't want to hear how the movie ends. If you haven't heard yet and you don't want to hear, then stop listening. But the basic plot of the movie is that Joker's in prison. He meets Lady Gaga's character, who's supposed to be Harley Quinn. And the first part of the movie is basically just him in prison as Arthur Fleck, not the Joker. And then in the second half, it turns into kind of a courtroom drama where they literally relitigate the events of the first movie, basically recapping what everybody saw in that film. They're just like telling the story again. And by the end, Joaquin Phoenix's character has a change of heart, repudiates his Joker alter ego, and is shortly thereafter stabbed to death by one of his own fans, who then carves a smile into his face and I guess becomes the new Joker. So it's a Joker movie where Joker spends almost the whole movie not being the Joker until he renounces the Joker and is killed, and the movie ends. And this, again, is being interpreted by most viewers as a very unsubtle critique of the fans of the first film, which it probably is, although there is another explanation. And in both cases, the movie has no new ideas.